What radio station are we on, folks? J 88. No, I do know where we are. 88 FM, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for interesting programming. Now, Loveland, M-rated, 102 minutes. We're in futuristic Hong Kong, in a world where machines increasingly rule and weather is a constant issue. Typhoons in the middle of winter, acid rain. That's where we find gun-for-hire Jack, played by Ryan Quanten, who didn't know his mother and his father walked out on him. He saw a way to sell his soul and he took it. And now he's very much a loner, an assassin who follows his victims on their last walk on Earth, and then he takes their lives. Chance meeting with a Vietnamese-born nightclub singer called April, played by Gillian Yen, ignites a spark in this character, Jack. She, in turn, sees something in him, and before long, the pair is seeing one another. April has a hidden secret that will be revealed. For his part, Jack's body is starting to let him down, and he can't understand why. He searches for answers. He tracks down a reclusive, what is called a life extension scientist, Dr. Bergman, played by Hugo Weaving. And in time, he unearths background information on Jack that puts Jack's ailments into context. Whichever path Jack and April take thereafter, there will be a price to pay. It's written, directed, produced by Ivan Sen. He's also involved in many other elements of this as well, is he not? He was the guy responsible for Mystery Road, so I think he's saved a lot of money by doing so many jobs. He's responsible for cinematography, for music, for editing. It's a science fiction romance about lost souls in a loveless world, and basically society's on the cusp of immortality and extinction. So a lot is hidden and underground, and each of the central players has lost something, or more to the point, someone dear to them. Have they not, Dave?
They have, and one of the interesting things about this film is that this was Ivan Sen's COVID film. I had the chance to interview Ryan Quanten, and he said this film came to life because Ivan wanted to make a movie, and of course, because of all of the COVID restrictions, you were limited to how many people you could have on set and things like that. So this film came about because Ivan Sen wanted to make a film with a small cast, etc. It is interesting. It borrows a lot, I felt, style-wise, from films like Blade Runner in the past, but I kind of liked the fact that this was a character-driven sci-fi, in the sense that rather than going out and spending a big budget like Morbius on special effects, it did concentrate on characterization and had lots of scenes where it was two people sitting down and talking. I thought that's quite rare when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy these days, so I did really enjoy that element of it.
Peter, it's a puzzle in which gradually the pieces come together. It's slow burn, and you need to concentrate to follow. Quite a depressing look into a bleak future, is it not?
Well, oh, hello, I think I hear a cat. Well, yes, it is, but I really feel, and I suppose I feel the same way about this film as I did about Morbius, that it should have had another run-through of another draft of a script. Yeah, I think the problem is with Loveland is the existential angst, which is so clearly portrayed in the film, just becomes redundant after a while, especially with the narration, which tells us everything that we're experiencing on screen anyway. And we have to wait until Hugo Weaving arrives on the scene for us to understand what the plot is, even though that still doesn't make a huge amount of sense. I agree, it does have a Blade Runner look to it, and it certainly gives us a dystopian future, which perhaps deals with the issue that there is no love really possible, because if you do have love, you'll die from it, which is one of the messages. But I found it somewhat pointless and repetitive, and I was disappointed because I was expecting to see a much stronger and a much better film from Ivan.
Greg, interestingly, the aerial cinematography reminded me of the darkness that's presented in Gotham City that we saw in the Batman.
I haven't seen this one yet, but
okay. No problem. Did the other two of you recognise that Gotham City in here at all in terms of what was shown, or not?
I did. It also reminded me of an Australian film that came out, probably 10, 15 years ago now, called Gabriel, which was about a post-apocalyptic world where Gabriel, the angel, is a warrior sent to save one last woman. I thought that kind of look to it worked. It also meant by having that haze around that Ivan Sen could get away with the fact that the city that he was filming in at some of the times was closed down because of COVID. So that certainly helped. But I just love the fact that you can see Australian filmmakers like Ivan Sen and like the guys that worked on Gabriel make a sci-fi film for such a minimal budget. I remember someone told me Gabriel was filmed on the same amount of money as what you would have for a catering budget for a Hollywood film. It's magnificent that Aussie filmmakers can do that.
Well, at ground level, there's this sort of grime in the small laneways that are mainstays of the futuristic city, and internally everything's small. It's closed in, it's claustrophobic. I thought each of the principal characters assume their characters as sort of broken, battered and bruised, and we take an interest in them because we want to know their individual and collective stories, why and how they got to be as they are. But not, and Peter mentioned there's not all the answers are forthcoming. Although the mood of doom and despair is established early on, it does not present this is Loveland as a nice, neat package. It's sort of this, it's got an artistic bent, and I reckon as such, it's only got selective taste associated with it. Not very. I don't think it's going to garner a big audience at all. And, well, look, I appreciated the concept, but to me, greater clarity would have been beneficial. So let's get a score from you, Peter.
I have to give it the same score as Morbius, I'm afraid, 4 out of 10.
And you, Dave?
I think I liked it a little bit better than Peter. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
And I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. So there we go. The